Hey, what are you doing in my bedroom? Hi! Today I'm going to be talking about the one and only time I have ever made physical contact with a celebrity. What celebrity, you may be asking? Well, that'll reveal itself later on in the story. The year was 2017. I had just turned 16, and I was looking for some adventure in my life. I went to a concert. I went with my mom and my ex at the time. We had gotten the tickets to a concert. The three celebrities, like the most notable celebrities, like bands that were there: Slayer, Marilyn Manson, Rob Zombie. Any three of those band members I could have potentially touched. Earlier in the day, we had spent the time walking around the city, looking at the views, historical sites that they might have, hometown of Stephen King, Bangor, Maine. I forgot sunscreen, of course, and we didn't have a car because we parked it in the parking garage right in front of the concert, and we walked from there. However, I probably should have put some sunscreen on, because after we went to Stephen King's house, I was really feeling it, but it was super hot out. I didn't want to wear anything to cover up from the sun. We eventually stopped at a gas station, and we grabbed some drinks. I just grabbed a water because I was super, super thirsty. We ended up walking to Subway, where I had discovered I had a bunch of blisters on my back from the sun. Honestly, this was like the second day into this concert, because it was a 3-day long concert. We were already tired, already bumming, we were just ready to ugh. But we prevailed. We prevailed. Inside the concert, when we first got into the concert venue, the first thing that I see is this gigantic baggie full of weed. I was like, oh, I want to smoke it. My mom sees it first, though, so she's like, you can't smoke here. We're not going to smoke at the concert. I'm like, ugh. She's like, plus, you don't know what's in it. So she hands it over to a security guard. I'm like, oh, my mom's such a narc. Just kidding. She's really cool. We ended up getting into the concert. I saw some friends there. It was really fun to catch up and meet with them. We saw some friends, mutual friends of me and my ex. They handed us our wallet and stuff because they were gonna go moshing. I didn't start moshing until I was in my 20s. It just wasn't my thing when I was 16. They went and had fun. X ended up breaking his glasses and busting his nose. The chaos of the moshing, but we ended up fixing them. The main bands come on, because throughout all of this, all of the side bands are playing, the opening bands. They were still really cool. Some of them we still knew. My ex at the time really wanted to see Testament, so we 100% went to that one. We then made our way to the front. I ended up in a mosh pit on accident. When I was hanging out, I got separated from my ex. My mom was hanging out with one of her friends, and I ended up at the very front of auditorium. I was in the pit. I was up front on the bars. The bars were pressing against me. And all of a sudden, Slayer starts playing. I look up, and flames shooting up right in front of me. I felt my hair singeing at the front of my face as the band played. Flames. They were so good. I loved it. Their set was so nice, so pretty. Not as pretty as Marilyn Manson's. I know Marilyn Manson is a bit controversial. However, he's a figure I've grown up with my entire life because my mom has a big, big crush on him. Literally, the biggest crush on him. When she was my age, she was going to every concert she could. She was getting signed by him, going to VIP meetups. She was listening to all of his music. She had posters. She still has posters and paintings and everything of Manson all over her bedroom wall. So eventually Manson comes out. He's playing. His set's really cool. He's got a bunch of different lights and fog, anti-crosses. Oh, he looks so cool. He came out, and where I had ended up, my ex had met up with me after the moshing, after the Slayer. We kind of re-met up, and then we tried to get back into the middle of the pit, which we were successful in, but as soon as Manson started playing, the entire stadium is as close as possible. So we're squished up against the bars. We're still semi in the middle of the pit, and Manson's, he's singing, he's playing. I can't find my mom. I can't find my mom's friend. Me and my ex are holding on to each other for dear life so we do not get separated. And then eventually my ex just decides to wrap me around him. So me and him are making our way through the crowd. We eventually get to the sidebars. So, like, the pit is like a square, and then next to the pit is the alcohol section. So I was sitting there, I was like right about the bar, me and my ex like this. The song was cute, we were swaying around, it was fun. Like, eventually it's all hyped up, we're getting to the peak of the concert, one of his biggest songs, and he jumps off the stage and comes running down the middle part between the alcohol section and the pit I'm in. He's coming. I see people touching him. I'm like, I want to touch him. I reach out, and I can't quite reach. He's coming, though, and I'm worried that I'm going to miss this opportunity. And then my ex grabs me by the waist. I was like 140 at the time. And thrusts me upwards into Marilyn Manson's reach. And just as I thought I was missing my opportunity because my ex was losing weakness at the time, I graze Manson's shoulder with my fingertips. Yep. The only celebrity I have ever made physical contact with is Marilyn Manson. And then after the hype, like, calmed down, and, like, Rob Zombie was about to get on stage and everything, and, like, it was an intermission, they were setting up for his stuff, I went back to my mom, and I was like, Mom, I just touched Marilyn Manson's shoulder. She was like, oh, you son of a... I was like, did you realize what you just said to me? What you just called me? Son of a... You're my mother. She was super jealous. And then we watched the Rob Zombie concert. It was a very overall good concert. I wish that they would bring that back because they don't do any concerts in Maine anymore. And now if I want to go see something half decent, I have to travel to Massachusetts or Pennsylvania, which is quite out of the way. I am going to go see Marilyn Manson and Rob Zombie again. They just announced a tour. I am excited to go see that. And I'm also going to go see Five Finger Death Punch. I saw Manson and Five Finger Death Punch, I think, a year or 2 years ago now. I also played with Slaughter to Prevail. It was at Hershey. I was getting lit. It was like the best. Like, I was feeling good. The music was good. The lighting was good. Vibes were good. After everything had calmed down in between the Rob Zombie concert, I was like overswept with this immense feeling of guilt, which is not unlike me. Of like, Manson is probably so overstimulated, and to have that amount of people touch him is probably a lot. But then at the same time, he wouldn't have gotten so close to the crowd if he wasn't expected to get touched. But also, I don't want to be a parasocial butthole, and I like to respect their boundaries, because celebrities are humans too. And I think that, giving them some grace and space and, understanding could go a long way for them. I'll let you know if I touch Marilyn Manson's shoulder again at this upcoming concert in August. So, thank you guys. If you want to hear more stories like this, let me know. I love hearing from you guys in the comments, so go off, like this video, subscribe. I love you guys so much, and I can't wait to see you again soon. Bye!